track this coverage until we get to the point where we are at least safe from the tornado threat. Abigail, looks like, did they just cancel a warning there? It looks like they're in Choctaw County. Looks like, yeah. Okay, they just canceled the warning there in Choctaw County for that tornado warning. So now it's one active tornado warning. Something else here? What do we got?
It has been...
All right, so Perry and Greene County?
Has been canceled.
Okay, so they've also canceled the part of this warning that was in Greene and Washington County as well. So there is still just one active tornado warning here, and we'll wait and see what they do with this. But it's the one we just put a storm track on here, and it's for, I'm going to go and take this off there. It is for this storm that is now primarily, or at least the tornadic portion of this storm, is in southeastern Wayne County. It is sitting right on the Chickasahee River. So they're in Wayne County, but this storm is headed towards Washington County. So this is headed towards Layton Hill. This is headed towards Barlow, Mahaffey, Jordan, and officially Chatham is in this warning polygon this evening. So it appears, though, we're getting more of a direct kind of straight line wind signature as opposed to a tornadic signature. We talk about this all the time. If you watch our severe weather coverage, this little bow echo is what we call that. That means the winds are really pushing forward, and these would be strong straight line winds of at least 60 mile per hour winds that's moving its way through eastern Wayne County and now into portions of Washington County in Alabama. This did prompt a tornado warning a few minutes ago. Let's look at the storm relative velocity. So right now, I'm a little less concerned here about an imminent tornado, but this would be the area to watch here. Let me go ahead and stop our movement there. So this is your area to watch. Battles and Bukatuna and areas there along the highway and along the Chickasahee River. So that part of the thunderstorm is working its way through Washington County. If you are in Layton Hill, Barlow, Jordan, Carpenter, Chatham, areas along Highway 17, you need to be paying very close attention to this storm. Now, the storm is still about 15 to 20 minutes away from you, so you got some time to gather your severe weather products here and start moving into your safe place. It's not going to be moving up on you here in the next 5 minutes. It's going to take a little while to get to you. Once it does get there, this will present a threat again of damaging winds and possibly a tornado as well. Also watching our debris tracker, I'm not seeing any indications of a tornado on the ground at this point. So this is just a storm that is capable of producing a tornado and moving off to the east. This will be moving through Battles, again, towards Layton Hill down the road as well. Before we'll get back to the storm, while it's starting to maybe wane on its tornado threat here. In fact, they may go ahead and cancel this based off of that last radar scan. Well, I spoke too soon. It looks like we're getting a strong little gust of wind in there too. So this, they'll probably hold on to this warning here for a few more minutes. But let's go ahead and move back to the home view here. Kind of put this into perspective in terms of you folks in Mobile County, Baldwin County, and the rest of our viewing area. So right now we have a line of thunderstorms that we've been advertising here for the last couple of days that is continuing to move off to the east. And these individual thunderstorms are going to be capable of producing isolated tornadoes and winds that will gust as around 60 miles per hour, maybe even a little bit higher in some of the strongest thunderstorms. There was a lot of strong ambient wind that's been coming in out of the south. You certainly felt it out there, out of all the parades. This threat of severe weather tonight did in fact prompt the changing of the schedule here this afternoon to make sure that all these parades were going to get in before all of this nasty weather moved on in. So now it is about 5 minutes after the top of the hour. We did have a couple of tornado warnings that were issued here for Washington County, Wayne County, Mississippi, and parts of Choctaw County. The first storm has weakened here. That's been approaching northern Clark County. The second storm still has not. There is still a tornado warning in effect here for northern Washington County. That warning officially is in effect here until 7:15. Now here's what we will do in about 10 minutes. If we find that this warning is allowed to expire, then we will continue our coverage on our social media pages and on WKRG.com as well. We are going to continue to give you coverage here so long as we have all of these severe thunderstorms moving on through our Mississippi counties, because all of this, every bit of this is going to move through Mobile County and Baldwin County tonight. The main issue, again, is going to be 60-mile-per-hour winds, along with the threat of isolated tornadoes. That threat will continue all the way to about 1 o'clock this morning. We have several active tornado watches in effect for our Mississippi counties until 9 p.m. tonight, and our Alabama and Northwest Florida communities, your tornado watch is in effect, goes a little bit later until 1 o'clock in the morning there in Northwest Florida. So it's going to take a while longer for those storms to move into your direction. We'll get back into this thunderstorm here and take a closer look and see how it's kind of moving here and how it's progressing. We'll go ahead and put this back into a canceled lapse. We'll go and get ourselves back into this storm here, working its way now into northern Washington County. Now, just looking at this, just with the reflectivity signature on the loan, we may be seeing that the main threat of this might be shifting towards the northern side of this box. And so, yeah, so what I'm thinking was happening here now is this area where we've had the tornado warning, we may be getting some wind that's kind of pushing a little bit more in the easterly direction, maybe a bit more of a straight line wind threat. When we see this, we always have to watch the northern end of this. If this maybe starts to hook back here, and you may get a brief tornado signature that develops over the next couple of minutes. So that's what we'll have to watch for. If you are anywhere along the Chickasahee River, there in southern Wayne County, I know I've been mentioning you quite a bit this evening, the worst of this weather, the worst of the or possible tornadic portion is now sitting on the Alabama and Mississippi state line. So any of the communities along the Chickasahee, I would venture to say that in the next about 2 or 3 minutes, you'll be able to move out of your tornado safe place. The worst of this is now, it's crossing the state line as we speak here. So this storm is about to move out of Mississippi. It's now about to move into Washington County. So it's moving through Copeland and the Barlow community, again, fairly sparsely populated portions here near Mahaffey and the Layton Hill communities, Yarbo and Jordan, Carpenter. This is all headed in that direction. If this storm is able to maintain itself, I just want to give you folks an early heads up near Bigby and the Tom Bigby River. Then it takes us over towards Mays Crossroads, St. Stephen's, Alabama. And then even down the road, we'll have to watch you folks in Wynn, McVeigh, and Grove Hill. So this gets us maybe a little farther down the line, maybe closer to 45 minutes to an hour from now, when the worst of that would start moving in your direction. So that's the current tornado warning. We'll take a look at this in our shear rate products here. Again, there's one area of very strong wind shear that's developed here along that state line. It's right on the state line, and that'll continue to move in the track in the general direction of Chatham. Let's see if we've, it doesn't appear like well, let's see, we have got any new information here on these warnings, or are they just gonna maintain their current paces here? Let's see. All right, looks like, all right, so right now it doesn't appear like they're going to reissue this warning here for this tornado warning in Washington County. At least that's the current word from the Weather Service. At this time, they're likely not going to continue this tornado warning farther east. This appears, at least right now, to be transitioning to more of a straight line windstorm. We're seeing that in our velocity signatures. I'm going to go and stop that. I'm looking at the velocity products here. There's one area there near Layton Hill, north of Layton Hill, that is still something that we'll have to watch for here in the next couple of minutes as this approaches Barlow and eventually areas north of Chatham, Alabama as well. So the worst of this is going to be moving, probably staying north of Chatham. If you were in Chatham in Washington County, right now I think the bulk of this tornado warned storm is going to miss you to the north. It's likely more going to affect areas up near Barlow and Yarbo in the next few minutes. Also, we have to keep our eyes on the storms farther south here. It looks like we're having another area that we'll have to watch now north of Leakesville. This was something that we mentioned just a few minutes ago. This was near Jonathan and northwest of Leakesville, that this area was starting to maybe spin up here, was starting to rotate, and that's perhaps what we're seeing developing here, right here. north of Jonathan. Perhaps another little strong wind area coming in along this line that may be starting to try to spin up there as well. Difficult to say. There's just a lot of rain, a lot of very heavy rain embedded within this, and certainly a lot of cloud to ground lightning as well. So right now, let's see, it's 7:10, so this warning is going to expire in about 4 minutes. I think we're going to stick with this here on air, and then we'll get you back to regularly scheduled programming here. Again, as we mentioned just a few minutes ago, in case you missed it, we do know that that there is coverage tonight from CBS of the President of the United States' address to Congress. That coverage is set to begin at 8 p.m. tonight of the speech. And we will go back, we will go to the President's speech once we believe that we have no imminent tornado threat here at this time. So what we will plan to do is we will continue our coverage on all of our digital platforms here over the next few hours here, and we will actually get you back to programming, assuming that this warning is allowed to expire at 7:15. If there are additional warnings issued from the National Weather Service office, we will pop right back on to our coverage here, and we will again try to get you back to the President's address later tonight once we deem that the threat has come to an end. There's no imminent threat to life and property. So let's go ahead and kind of do a broad track here. Again, the main issue here with this storm is a tornado warning storm that is now passing and should pass north of Chatham, Alabama, over the next 5 to 10 minutes. The National Weather Service warned on this storm about 30 minutes ago when it was moving its way through Wayne County. Now the storm has started to maybe shown some signs of weakening, but they're going to let this warning continue through about 7:15. Now, once we get done with the warning, the tornado warning, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for most of Clark County, the western half of Clark County, including Jackson, Thomasville, Coffeyville, Grove Hill, and Tatlersville. Your warning is in effect until 8 p.m. Same for you folks in northern Washington County. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8 p.m. Let's take you down into Greene County, Mississippi. The entire county is under a severe thunderstorm warning officially until 7:15, but we will likely get new warnings issued as the storm tracks into Alabama and then into George County, Mississippi. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for you as well. Your warning goes until 7:30 this evening. So Loosedale, Agricola, you've got some rough weather headed your way in the next few minutes. Again, that is along areas near the Leaf River, working its way through western portions of George County there in Mississippi. We're also watching the storms that are sitting near Gulfport. Those are also moving in an easterly direction here and will be moving into lower Alabama over the next couple of minutes. The main threats, again, will be damaging wind gusts on the order of 60 miles per hour. We will also see a threat of isolated tornadoes. These would likely be brief spin-up tornadoes. We do not believe, based off the radar signatures right now, that we're going to see any kind of long-tracked destructive tornadoes with this. This is more transitioning to more of a long straight line wind event. Something else to mention, we're getting a lot of reports of power outages now due to some very strong wind gusts that are happening well out ahead of this approaching line of storms. We've had gusts over 40, we've had reports of lights flickering, and some spotty power outages. So we will probably see a few more after these storms move on through. We're also noting quite a bit of lightning with this. You can see the lightning ticker is really starting to ramp up here very quickly. Actually, before we drop this, I actually want to take a look quickly at some of these from our weather cameras. Again, we're looking off to the west here. This is looking on the western sky. This is still pretty far away from our camera here near Midtown Mobile. But as we start getting these storms in, we'll see a lot more lightning here from all of these cameras tonight. And as they continue to move on through, they will bring that threat of strong gusty winds here through the rest of the night. All right, 7:15, let's see what they do here. We're just going to let this warning expire here. And looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in here. And Abigail, you got that warning up in front of you?
Severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for northwestern Mobile County, southern Washington, George County, southern Perry County, Greene County, and eastern Stone County until 8:15.
And there it is. So now this is getting into Mobile County. So this includes Citronelle. This also includes areas along Highway 45, Gulf Crest. This includes Wilmer, This also includes Latonia. This also includes the areas along the northern side of Big Creek Lake and areas just west of Sims. So that is a severe thunderstorm warning.
Moving east at 40 miles an hour.
East at 40. So we'll put a track here on this storm just so we can give you guys the heads up there. And what I think we're going to do after we put this track on, we're actually going to move back to regularly scheduled programming as it appears that the tornado threat, that tornado warning has ended. So if you're in northern Mobile County, if you're near the Worley community, you got 47 minutes. Most of this is going to be moving its way through Greene and George counties in the next few minutes, bringing 60-mile-per-hour winds. This includes Loosedale in 19 minutes. This will get to Leakesville even sooner in 9 minutes. And also we're looking at Rocky Creek, 22 minutes. And then Citronelle, it now pops up in our storm track. This will take you until 41 minutes. So what we are going to now do in the control room, we are going to go ahead and return to regularly scheduled programming. We are going to continue our coverage on our digital platforms here this evening on social media and of course on WKRG.com. For meteorologist Abigail Gillespie, I'm Chief Meteorologist Ed Bloodsworth. Have a great night. We'll keep you updated. Evening, we are approaching 8 o'clock on the hour. We have moved into severe weather coverage here. We are showing you a split screen here. We expect the President of the United States to begin his address to the nation this evening, but unfortunately we do have severe weather that is impacting things here tonight. A brand new tornado warning has been issued for George County, Mississippi and north central Mobile County. This does not include the city of Mobile. This does not include Sims. This does not include Saraland. But this warning is in effect until 8:30 this evening. Doppler radar is indicating an area of strong rotation that is sitting south of Loosedale and approaching the community of Vaughn, Mississippi. And right now the area is just to the west of Vaughn, moving on you right now. So this storm is capable of producing a tornado this morning again until 8:30. Looking at the debris tracker at this point, we do not believe there is a tornado on the ground, but the rotation with this storm has sufficiently strengthened and has tightened up where the Weather Service has now felt confident enough to issue this warning. So the worst of this storm is south and east of Loosedale. So if you are watching us out of Loosedale, Mississippi, this storm will track away from you. This will be working towards the state line and working into Alabama. So the more concerning communities here are the Alabama communities that are going to be in the way of this. So again, this warning officially does include the city of Wilmer, but we believe at the current pace and on its current track, the tornadic part of this thunderstorm will probably stay just to the north of Wilmer. Abigail, what is the movement of this tornado warned storm here?
Moving east at 50 miles an hour.
East at 50. So it's a very fast moving storm. We'll go ahead and get off of the warnings here. We'll put a track here. East at 50 miles per hour with this tornado warned storm. Probably moving a little bit north of due east here. So as we kind of stretch this out to around 50, right about there. So you'll notice here, let me actually step off and try to see if I can get some more communities to populate in this. But this is going to, again, stay away from Loosedale. This is not going to impact you. I'm going to make that perfectly clear. But here's a new time till arrival for you folks there. If you are in Vaughn, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now and stay there until we deem that the threat is cleared. For you folks in Agricola, although we believe this tornadic portion is just to your north, you need to go ahead and also stay there for the next few minutes until we get this storm to get past you. If you are in Latonia and Shipman, those communities, and Moffett along Highway 98, you need to go ahead and also start taking your tornado precautions. I would even go ahead and suggest you folks in Wilmer, because even if you don't get a tornadic wind out of this, you will get a strong straight line gust. That area of pink that you see north of Dean Landing, that is some extremely strong winds, at least indicated via Doppler radar. Right now we're seeing those winds, and we're seeing some gusts there around 50, 60 miles per hour. Let me go and clear things off there. We're seeing a few gusts there right around 60 miles per hour. So those are certainly severe level gusts that are moving on through Latonia, approaching Latonia and approaching Wilmer. After that point, the storm is going to continue to move off to the east. So Vaughn, it looks like the worst of the storm is passing through you right now. Go ahead and stay in your tornado safe place until we deem that this threat is over. If you are in, the next ones up will be Boothtown, Georgetown, and Chunchula. So this is the first warning of the evening for Mobile County, the first tornado warning of the evening for Mobile County. And this is likely going to be an area of strong straight line wind that will continue to, okay. All right, we do want to go ahead and pass along, folks. I know that CBS is moving into their coverage of the presidential address to Congress. If you would like to listen to that, you can go ahead and also listen to that on our website, WKRG.com as well, if you do want to listen to the President of the United States here. But right now, again, we still have some folks that are in the path of a storm that could be dropping a tornado here at any moment, moving through George County, Mississippi, towards Boothtown, towards Wilmer, Georgetown as well, heading towards Oak Grove and Celeste, Creola, Axis, and Berry Village communities as well. So that is the latest storm. Looking at this in the shear rate product, the area that we were really watching here, and if I show this to you just a few minutes ago, notice how that area just started to kind of kink up there near Loosedale, right there. That was a sign that we were starting to get some stronger rotation as opposed to just some strong straight line wind within this here, and that is what prompted the Weather Service to issue this tornado warning. We're also keeping our eyes on the looking there on the at the signature with the debris tracker. And hold on, let me actually get down in there. We may have a little dropout occurring here near Vaughn. It's hard to see, but right there in the last few areas here, we may have a little dropout in this product. So what this is, our debris tracker. So what it's measuring is the size of objects in the air. Typically, if everything's kind of the same color, it's generally rain or precipitation. But if we start seeing a dropout here, where we start seeing some lower levels of correlation coefficient in concert with this area of strong wind, that is something we have to watch for maybe a debris signature here. Let's see in the latest scan. It looks like that's going to start to weaken. So hopefully that was not a brief touchdown there, but that was certainly an area where we would have likely had one here if, just based off of what we're seeing with the radar picture. So now it appears that maybe this rotation is starting to broaden out a little bit. Possible if we have a area to watch here, it's near Shipman and now near Latonia. So this is on Highway 98 now. This is about to cross into into the state of Alabama, but this possible storm that's capable of producing a tornado is now just to the west of Latonia and moving east now at around 55 miles per hour. We'll put another quick track on that as well here, and based off the new forward speed here and the new timing, it's going to move this east around 55 miles per hour. That's going to take us well outside of our warning box here this evening. So, it's going to be moving through a lot more communities before it gets to Creola. So it's going to be moving through Georgetown. It's going to be moving through Chunchula over the next 15 to 20 minutes. So even though you're not showing up in the track here, it's going to be moving through your community in the next 15 to 20 minutes, areas where we have some population centers. I know, of course, last year around this time, you folks in Chunchula, actually I would say that was more into April, but once we get into the spring, you had a spring tornado touchdown last year there in the Chunchula, Georgetown area as well. Now you got another storm coming in that's approaching your community this evening. Right now, while that storm appears to be broadening out just a bit, I do want to give you a quick update on some other storms we're watching here. In Clark County, there is no active tornado warning, but there is a large severe thunderstorm warning for Washington, also for Clark, and now also western Monroe County until 8:45. That storm is producing 60 mile per hour straight line winds and is continuing to move east now at around 40 miles per hour. This part of the thunderstorm, again, is where we are seeing the also large straight line wind threat that is moving its way towards Citronelle. You've got 60 mile per hour winds coming into your community here. In fact, it should be there in about 5 minutes in Citronelle. But the tornadic part of the storm is sitting to your south and west. If we have an area of rotation that's capable of producing a tornado, this is about 12 miles up Highway 98 to the north and west of Semmes. So this storm is about 12 miles northwest of Semmes, and right now that storm is south and west by about 18 miles of Citronelle and due east of Creola. It's still a good ways away there from Creola. It's about 24 miles away from due west of Creola and tracking to the east. But as we mentioned, there are a lot of these small communities there along Highway 45 that are going to be in the path of this storm as it starts to work on through. So you can see we may have a little weak echo area where you kind of see that little area of yellow forming. That's something that we always have to watch for in situations like this as well. So if we have a system developing, it would be right here north of Latonia, right in this area. See if I can actually toggle that on. There we go, north of Latonia, right there along Highway 98. That's where this area would most likely be located at this time and tracking east. Right now, I'm ready to give you folks in Vaughn, Agricola, Loosedale, Rocky Creek. You are now all clear from this tornado warned storm. You are now all clear from this there in those communities I just listed: Loosedale, Vaughn, Agricola, Dean Landing as well. And the good news for you for the rest of the night as well, now that this storm has bypassed you, your severe weather threat, I would say, is done altogether if you're in Loosedale, as these storms will continue to move away from you. So thankfully, once this line of storms moves through, your severe weather threat really comes to an end quickly. This is not going to be an event that just lasts with round after round of thunderstorms. It's just this line of thunderstorms. That's all you have to get through. And once you get through that, you'll be in the clear for the rest of the night. That's why we anticipate that this overall threat tonight will end right around 1 o'clock in the morning in our northwest Florida counties. So the storm is now starting to exit Mississippi. This tornado warned storm, again, is moving out of Mississippi. That is another severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued, probably out ahead of this batch of thunderstorms coming in as well. Abigail, do you got that new warning up in front of you?
Yes.
What's it for?
Severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Monroe County, Mobile County, northwestern Baldwin, southern Washington, south central Clark, and eastern George County until 9 p.m.
It's a big warning.
Yes.
It's a very large warning.
East at 40 miles an hour, gust up to 60.
Okay, and did they include a tornado tag there at the bottom, or just a normal severe thunderstorm warning? It appears like it's just a normal warning from here.
Just a normal warning,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, so, but this is the new warning. So that means now the city of Mobile. So Mobile, Saraland, Satsuma, areas along Spring Hill, Pritchard, Semmes, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 9 p.m. tonight. For an anticipation that this line of thunderstorms, as it moves on through tonight, will be able to produce 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And even, I would say, we still have a low tornado threat here. If any part of this thunderstorm starts to spin up and starts to rotate again, that could be an issue as well tonight. So that also includes Baldwin County as well. That gets us until 9 o'clock. That would include Bay Minette. It would include areas along the river delta. So you would think Carpenter, Stockton, Vaughn, Blakely. That includes you as well for a new severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go back into the tornado warned storm, the storm that has prompted this latest tornado warning. And the storm is now completely out. The tornadic part of the storm is now out of Mississippi. It's now working through Mobile County this evening, and there's Boothtown, there's Georgetown. Over, thankfully, in the next couple of minutes, it's going to kind of stay out over a sparsely populated area. But once this gets to Mason Ferry Road, then you start running into a few more communities here along Chunchula Georgetown Road. So if you're along Chunchula Georgetown Road all the way to Chunchula and along Highway 45 there, you need to be paying very close attention to this storm as it continues to work into your direction, moving again at about 55 miles per hour. If you're in Georgetown as well, you need to also be paying attention to this. Areas along Lott Road, especially north of Wilmer Georgetown Road. If you're along those communities along Lott Road, you need to, again, start paying close attention to this and be prepared to move into your safe place. All right, good news here. In the last radar scan, it appears that the storm is starting to broaden out. There's an update to the tornado warning that they have canceled now for George County. They have now trimmed this warning back to only include Mobile County, areas near Boothtown, Lambert, Turnerville, Pineola, areas north of Celeste, and still to the west of Highway 43. So that means as you head towards Berry Village, Chestang, Axis, and Lemoyne. All of this is still off to your west at this point, but still tracking off to the east. All right, new time of arrival. Let's go ahead and keep the tracks going here with the storm. As it continues to move off to the east, perhaps a little north of due east here, about 55 miles per hour. Let me actually zoom that out here and kind of give you a better track, just considering how quickly these storms are moving. All right, so move this at about 55 miles per hour, and I'm also going to make an adjustment to the track here off camera, but we'll make sure we keep this updated for you. So you'll notice just a couple of communities popping on there, including Atmore down the road, but that's about an hour away. So you've got obviously plenty of time if you're in Atmore before this storm comes anywhere close to you. But there we go. This is what I wanted to show you, that there are a lot of other smaller communities now that are going to be in the path of this tornado-warned storm that's in effect until the bottom of the hour at 8:30. So right now, the storm is headed towards Gulf Crest. It'll be there in 9 minutes. From there, it'll pass Gulf Crest and then move through Chunchula in 10 minutes. After Chunchula, it will cross Highway 45, and from there, we start looking at northeastern Mobile County. So Lambert, we start looking at we talk about Pineola, Turnerville, Salco, and then eventually outside of this warning area, we start looking towards areas near Axis and Lemoyne and areas near Chestang as well. So those are the areas that we watch here for the next couple of minutes, to probably within the next 30 to 45 minutes down the road. But right now, the most imminent threat here is for you folks in Boothtown and Gulf Crest. Let's get back down to some storm tracking via the street grids here. So again, we mentioned Lott Road. And if we mention your road and you mention any communities here along these roads, you need to start moving to your tornado safe place. So Lanier Lane, Bird Cemetery Road, Sweetwater Drive South, Sweetwater Drive North, Riva Road, areas near Frank Road, Lott Cemetery Road, again, as we mentioned earlier. And even for you folks there along, that would be out kind of in the middle of nowhere of Chunchula Landfill Road. But then you get towards Old Citronelle Road. And of course, we talk about Highway 45 there. You can see the county marker. Areas mainly north of Chunchula Georgetown Road. It would be areas west of Chunchula. That's where this most likely area of tornadic potential would be. But based off the latest scans here, this is what we want to see, that the storm appears to be maybe on a weakening phase here. I'm looking at the shear rate. It doesn't look quite as put together as we were seeing a few minutes ago, but this is the area of concern right there. We're able to pinpoint that with our technology this evening. And what we're looking at here is an area of strong straight line wind. But right there, you notice how this kind of does a little kink there? That is where we have an area of what we call inflow, wind that's actually coming into the thunderstorm, and that's a rotating thunderstorm that's sitting there near Boothtown. So that, if we have a tornado, that is where it would be located there. It's just south of Boothtown. And now probably moving just east, as it just moved out of the radar scan there. Still no sign of a tornado on the ground. That's what we want to see. We are not seeing any active tornadoes on the ground at this point. Right now, it is just now a storm that is capable of producing a tornado. If it continues on this weakening phase, I think we'll be able to get you back to the president's speech here. So, yep. Okay. All right, so what we are going to continue to do here this evening, you can see there on the right side of your screen, the President of the United States is now working into the House chamber in preparation for the speech. And what we are going to do, or remind you folks, is as long as we have an active tornado warning and there are folks in the way of this storm, we're going to continue to provide coverage. Once we deem that the tornado threat has ended, we will go ahead and get you back to the President's address to Congress here. But right now, there is some life and property. And right now, you can also listen to his speech and listen to the coverage from CBS live on our on WKRG.com as well. So that's another option for you, perhaps if you're not in the imminent threat zone here, but you still want to go ahead and listen to the President of the United States. All right, so there's your tornadic storm. Again, it is southwest of Citronelle now and tracking to the east and northeast, approaching Highway 45. This does not, the tornado warning here for Mobile County does not include, again, make perfectly clear, this does not include downtown Mobile. This does not include Saraland or Creola or Semmes. This includes Chunchula, Georgetown, those areas specifically, and Gulf Crest, and Boothtown and Lambert. Those are the communities that we have to watch there. That area south of Citronelle and north of Oak Grove. And especially, I would say, even north of Chunchula, as the bulk of this is probably going to pass closer to the Gulf Crest than it is going to pass to Chunchula. But even if you do not get a tornado out of this, you have 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. There's no doubt about that. And those the gusts have already knocked out power to a good number of folks here in Mobile County. That is going to also be a problem for you folks along 45 there near Gulf Crest, Russell, and the Berry Village communities. There's also some very strong wind just to the south of this tornado-warned storm, down towards Big Creek Lake and Wilmer and Sims. If you're in Sims, you got some strong wind, but you are not at this point under the threat of a tornado here. Let me check in with our friends at the National Weather Service, see if we have any updated information regarding this thunderstorm here. It appears not. It looks like they're just going to continue the current tornado warning. Again, it is set to expire here at the bottom of the hour in Mobile County. Let me go back wide view here, kind of show you here while it's sort of sitting in between population centers at this point. So what we have here now is a very powerful line of thunderstorms that is going to prompt severe thunderstorm warnings through its entire path here through our area. It's going to continue to work its way through Monroe County, Conecuh County, Escambia County, North Baldwin County as well. And we're also watching the storms south. They're approaching Pascagoula for possible tornadic development. Those will be passing through South Mobile County. The main threat overall is going to be winds gusting 60 miles per hour tonight. And the other big issue that we are going to watch for is the threat of isolated tornadoes as well. Right now, the only active tornado warning here is in North Mobile County. While it's sitting here away from population centers, one thing I'm also noting here, I just saw from some of our weather cameras, is looking north here, is we are starting to get in on more lightning here. Areas, this is looking to the north and west from our camera near Midtown Mobile, but it's going to be very difficult to really see anything here tonight because it's dark, and we also have just a lot of rain and a lot of moisture that's going to be disrupting our here. So make sure. Okay. And there's another look there from downtown Mobile. Thankfully, of course, we've wrapped up all of our Fat Tuesday events. Again, the President of the United States is beginning his speech there in front of Congress. If you would like to listen to the hat, we'll head over to WKRG.com right now. We will return you to that speech here on WKRG and CBS once we deem that the tornado threat has sufficiently wrapped up here in parts of Mobile County. But for now, we still have an imminent threat here of a tornado north of Saraland. Let's go ahead and take you into this storm now, the latest look at it. Thankfully, it is continuing on a weakening phase here, but still holding its own there near Gulf Crest. Let's go ahead and get a little bit closer in there. Or go ahead and stop that. There we go. Now move a little bit to the north. And there's your tornado warning again. Areas south of Citronelle. This includes Gulf Crest and Lambert, Russell, and Chunchula. This is starting to look a little bit more like a straight line wind signature as opposed to a tornado signature. Looking at the velocities, I'm seeing that as well. Now, you'll notice how a lot of this is starting to, like, we're not seeing as much red here, and you'll notice that in the last few minutes as we lapse this will start to, you see how all the reds just sort of disappear. Reason is we're now moving east of our radar site here. So this will pop back in, but it's that area there still that we have to watch north of Citronelle. But as this starts to pass Highway 45, we are going to continue to see the reds and greens start to come back here. But this, at least for now, appears to be transitioning to more of a damaging straight line wind threat. So if that trend continues, we may be able to get you back here to regular coverage, maybe just before 8:30. But for now, we're going to go and stay with it here over the next couple of minutes. All right. So as that storm appears to be maybe gusting out a little bit here, as it's now approaching Highway 45. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and give you some folks some all clear here. I know you've been watching us if they're out of Georgetown and Boothtown. If you're in either one of those communities, you are now in the clear. Boothtown, Georgetown, you're in the clear. You got some strong wind, but the tornado threat is to your north. Still need to stay inside. Still need to make sure you wait for the bulk of these storms to pass through. Chunchula If there's a tornado, it would be off to your north. If you're near Gulf Crest, it's just to your south. So make sure you stay in your safe place until we get this past Highway 45. And from there, it'll move towards Turnerville. So if you're in Turnerville, Lambert, you need to go ahead and still be moving into your tornado safe place. Middle of your home, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You'll want to make sure you stay there until we give you the all clear here on WKRG. Now, what we will also do is after we conclude our tornado coverage here, what we will plan to do is continue our coverage on our digital platforms as well. Again, once we go back full here to CBS and the President of the United States delivering his address to the nation. Again, you can watch that on WKRG.com right now, should you choose. The other storms that we're now continuing to watch, still more active severe thunderstorm warnings that have been issued here for Clark County in Alabama, as that storm is now bypassing Grove Hill. That storm is also starting to maybe strengthen a bit here south of Grove Hill. We're seeing more of those bright reds and the greens kind of coming together there, but that is some strong 60-mile-per-hour wind at least that is approaching the Alabama River, and about to move into northern Monroe County. That is a warning will stay in effect until 8:45. Let's go ahead and slide south here. The second warning is for southern Washington, northern Mobile County, northern Baldwin County. This includes all the areas along the boat ramp communities and along the Alabama River and the Tensas River deltas. You will have that severe thunderstorm warning until 9 o'clock tonight for the threat, again, of 60-mile-per-hour winds and possibly a little bit of hail with these thunderstorms as well. The only tornadic, we also had a warning, for central Mobile County. This does include the city of Mobile this evening. This also includes West Mobile, down towards the Dawes community, around Big Creek Lake, Tanner Williams as well, and Sims. This includes Berkeley, this includes Meadow Lake, and also includes Crichton and areas all around downtown Mobile. Severe thunderstorm warning for this storm coming out of Jackson County, Mississippi, that is capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour winds as well. Let's go ahead and look back at this tornado warning storm. If the trends continue here, they are going to certainly continue this as a severe thunderstorm warning, but just looking at it now, we may start seeing the imminent tornado threat coming to an end, at least for now. If we have to jump back on to coverage here tonight, we certainly will, but that is looking more and more like a straight line wind threat, and at least the actual wind speeds are continuing to trend down. So it's now, at this point, what I think if we continue with this current pace here, we will be able to get you back to the President's address to the Congress right now at 8:30 if this current trend continues. All right, Chunchula, you've got strong wind moving through right now of 60 miles per hour. Make sure you are in your safe place and stay there until we give you the all clear. Give that about 10 to 15 more minutes. I think you'll be able to have your severe threat will be ending tonight in about 10 to 15 minutes there near Chunchula. You still got a ways to go here near Turnerville. We'll get some of the streets grids to pop on here. So anywhere along Roberts Road, southwest of Turnerville, Celeste Road, which of course goes north, and all the smaller roads that are come off of Celeste Road. So think Walter Moore Road, there's Amy Road, Salco Road, Stagner Road. Again, these are areas south of the Turnerville community. Serena Circle, let me tilt this up so we get them into more of a full screen mode here. There's CDC Road, Odom Road, Amy Pardon Road. If you live on any of those roadways, you are under a tornado warning now. Salco Road West, which of course takes us all the way towards Salco and Lemoyne and along Highway 43. You are still under a tornado warning at this point. But right now it appears if there is anything left of this possible tornado, it would be right here, north of Chunchula. That's where it would be. You can kind of see how this is kind of pushing forward here. So that would be the area to watch here. That would be located, let me just do the math here, about 3 miles due north of Chunchula. And the storm is moving off to the east at this point. Is that just a watch update there, Abigail, or is this a an update to the warning?
There is an update for the tornado warning. The
Okay.
tornado warning for northwestern Mobile County will expire at 8:30.
Okay, so at 8:30 they're going to expire this morning. All right, so they will expire this morning here at the bottom of the hour, right at 8:30, as they deem that the tornado threat is starting to perhaps wind down temporarily with this thunderstorm. Again, so in the last 5 minutes, what we're going to do here, while we believe that the tornado threat is starting to wind down, we still have some time to go here. And get this back to home view here before we wrap up our severe weather threat. There is a tornado watch that's still officially in effect for Greene and George counties in Mississippi, although I'm willing at this point to say that your tornado threat is over, considering the storms have moved off to your east. Tornado watch continues for Mobile, Baldwin, Washington, Clark, Monroe, Conecuh, and Escambia County in Alabama until 1 o'clock this morning, and that also includes you folks in Northwest Florida, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. That continues until 1 o'clock in the morning. Here's how we believe this will transpire here the rest of the night as this line of storms, let me just go ahead and stop this and just hide our banner here. So as this continues to move east, this will move at a pretty good pace here. So notice once we get towards 11:30, this already moves through Pensacola. And then that takes us till about midnight to 1 o'clock, moving through Okaloosa County. After it pushes on through, then your threat is done. So we believe that by 1 o'clock in the morning at the very latest, your threat will come to an end, and we will be left with just some lingering showers and a transition more to a westerly wind. We'll go just very quickly go back to our radar picture, take another fresh look at the storm before we go ahead and send you back to the President of the United States. So there is still a strong storm here that is still capable of producing some strong damaging winds. You do not want to discount 60-mile-per-hour winds. And because of this storm, it's maybe had a tendency to try to cycle again. We'll continue to watch that in case it does the same thing. But if it does continue on its current track, thankfully, once it gets past Highway 43, it'll be moving over, obviously, the river delta, where obviously no one lives here unless you're in one of those very small boat communities. And then it gets to 59, Latham, Vaughn, Stockton. Once it gets past there, it'll continue to head towards Atmore down the road. So that part of the thunderstorm we'll have to watch as it approaches Atmore, Porch, and Ewing Farms, Jack Springs as well, with 60-mile-per-hour winds and a possible tornado. I'm also keeping my eyes on the southern side of this thunderstorm as well. Although we haven't had much here in South Mobile County yet, it is all sitting off to your west. It's not severe here near Pascagoula at this point, but as this moves into central Mobile County, this could also present a threat of severe weather through the rest of the evening as well. So do not discount, do not sleep on these thunderstorms as they roll on through. And finally, our inland areas. Before we get you back here to the President of the United States, the storms are continuing to move east. Jackson, Alabama, you are now in the clear from this. Same for you folks in Thomasville and Grove Hill. Still a severe thunderstorm warning continues for Monroe County until 8:45, and those storms are still showing a sign of some strong winds, but they're also maybe weakening a little bit here in the last couple of minutes. So as we anticipate that this warning will expire here at the bottom of the hour, we are going to go ahead and return you back here to the President of the United States with his address in front of Congress here in the House chamber here. So make sure you follow our coverage on WKRG.com and follow our coverage on all of our social media channels as well. We'll continue with this weather coverage, but for now, we're going to go ahead and send you back to the President of the United States.